Yo, what is up, you guys? We are your hosts. I'm V.
I'm Luis.
I'm Angel, guys, and this is Taking Shots podcast. Yeah, woo! Clap it up.
Woo.
Now y'all
Hey,
guys
we
like to
got-
clap it up.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
For today's episode, we're gonna be drinking Red Bull and
Jaeger.
Jaeger.
Who requested?
Other
Yo,
what?
shout
That
out.
was shout out to my boy Eric.
El fuck
Eric
shizzle.
Fashnizzle.
Okay.
Fashnizzle, my drizzle. All right. And
Yo, shout out to him.
I'm gonna take some ginger shot.
I'm taking it
This
straight
is
out the
a
bottle,
little
guys.
dangerous, but
I'm taking it straight out the bottle.
we gotta do what we gotta do.
You guys already know how it is.
I would drink this all the time when we were like back in high school. Oh my god.
Get fell.
Que
Dude, this thing
sí,
sucks.
like,
I hate
no
this.
manches.
I would
hate
drink
this.
this like with my boy Alex. It's like every time I hang out with him, that's what we drink.
Ay, qué feo.
This one
But like
nasty,
snowboarding y todo.
35% alcohol. Qué chido.
Damn.
Tastes fail. All right, guys. Cheers. You're gonna take a.
Ah,
This
sí.
Or that. She's gonna take a. We still got some margarita, guys,
Yeah,
left
because we
over.
don't have
So
any shot glasses.
we gotta
so-
get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
So, okay.
yeah.
All right, cheers,
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Not
To
the
taking
big
shots,
bottle.
guys. Cheers.
Está bueno, está bueno.
No.
Dude, honestly, I hate how this thing tastes.
I think it's good. I miss drinking.
I mean, it's not too strong. Like, it kind of is pretty
No, it is
smooth.
kind of like a sweeter. Yeah, it's smooth.
It's
That's
like
what I
smooth,
like.
but it
Sweet,
has
I
like
don't
a
know, I don't-
But it
sweet-
is
I don't
kind
like
of
this.
sweet.
I don't
It's
like
like
this.
syrupy. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's what it is. I don't like
You
it
know?
though.
Qué miedo.
All right.
Oh, they're called Jaeger bombs.
Yeah,
That's
Jaeger
the
bombs, Jaeger
exact
bombs,
term.
yeah.
Because we're like, yeah, Red Bull and
Well, yeah, Jaeger
No,
bombs.
sí.
Jaeger bombs.
A ver,
We have
¿cómo
Red
nos
Bull here.
va?
Even though we didn't put it as a bomb, but we mixed it, you know? Ya está listos.
All right. So, first topic, guys.
So, every one of us, like, you know, grew up a little bit different. And then I always thought there's a good topic of, like, you know, mother and a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
You guys think that's, like, an important?
Like having a mother and father figure.
Yeah, pretty much as a
Like growing up.
childhood. Yep.
Growing up. For me, I think I think it's important, because when you're growing up, you kind of want to have both, you know, male and female perspectives, you know, like on different things, not just like obviously, you know, if you're a boy, a guy, your father helps you like be a man, you know, he basically kind of helps you become the man who you are today. And then same thing with your mother, you know, shows you how to care for others and like be compassionate. So for me, I think it is important to have both those figures in your life.
Basically, that'll teach you different traits. that
Yeah,
they can
different traits,
both
yeah.
portray.
That's what I think. What do you think, V?
Yeah. I think, I could agree the same. You
It's
know?
a must.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it is a must, I'd say. But sometimes, you know, there is also times when, you know, things like that don't quite happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get guidance from, you know, others or what you see. Or,
Well,
you know.
well, not that, but also like some people don't have, you know, both. They didn't have both figures in their life when they were
Yeah.
growing up. You know, like some people only were raised by their mother, and the other ones only raised by their father. You know, depending on their living situation and stuff.
Well, I think right now that's happening a lot now because, I mean, divorces are sky high.
Yeah, how we said a lot in the couple episodes back.
The
Yeah.
rates are
Yeah.
crazy.
So now in
Yeah.
reality, that's kind of like something new. Back then, like, I think,
It was a little bit more.
yeah, it
harder,
was a little
yeah.
bit more. But that everyone, you know, you were used to, you know, having like your mom and your dad like in the same household.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I think it is changed a lot.
It's-
Like
yeah.
the new generation, I think is gonna be used to like, you know, growing up without a father and without a
Like
mother.
one or the
Yeah.
other. Yeah. So all right. So let me. I just thought of a question right now.
Tell it right away.
The what?
Drop it.
So if
He's
okay,
cooking.
yeah, no, I know that. No, chill out. So if you guys were, what's one trait or one thing that you learned when you were like younger that stuck with you, like from one from your mom's side and one from your dad's side, right? Like for example, I see. What's one thing that you picked up that it made you who you are today, basically, or like what helped you, or till this day you still do that, or you have like that trait, you know?
I think in general, I would say in my dad would be like the most. Even he didn't really taught me, but he kind of had it as like a model, or like a role model that I would say, and that would be working hard. Because like when I grew up, um, I do remember the beginning, like the first memories, like when you're starting to remember stuff,
Yeah.
like as a child, like probably like what, 3 or 4, that's when you start, saving your memories.
Yeah.
I don't remember my dad being in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember, like, we would talk on the phone and everything, but I didn't really know why. And the real reason, though, why it was because my dad was actually in the United States already working.
Yeah.
And I was in Mexico with, like, my mom. But my dad was, like, providing and everything. He wanted, yeah, he was working. And he was, basically, making money. And eventually he did get us, to
Yeah.
come here to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was, just working. My dad works a lot.
Mm-hmm. That'd be
Like,
like
even
the.
like to this day, right now, my dad works a lot because I know I'm the oldest in my family, but then my siblings and everything, and I think he's, well, yeah, he's a provider. Like, we never, uh, let's say we didn't grow up rich or anything like that, but we always grew up with, like, food in our plate,
Nunca
Yeah.
les faltó
and then,
nada,
like,
yeah.
with the roof in our head.
Yeah.
So I think that's, like, something that I have him, like, let's say, as a role model.
Mm-hmm. Like
'Cause
it's like
I
a
said,
trait.
yeah, it's
That's
a
the trait. That's the trait that stuck with you
'cause
was
for
like
me,
working
like, I
hard.
still do believe that, like, if I have my own family and everything, I want to work, hard para que no les falte nada.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's, something that I stuck.
Stuck with you.
Yeah, because there wasn't really, like, it's not like he played with me or nothing, but I think it was because of that. He
Yeah.
focused a lot on actually providing for the family. And, it might have sucked when I was growing up, because, like I said, he wasn't, let's say,
Home as often.
he wasn't home as often and everything. But then now, like, as I'm older, I understand, the reason, too,
Yeah.
So what about from your mom's side? What did you pick up from her?
My mom is pretty much like, I would say, like, compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say she's always like taught me, to basically be like, yeah, compassionate towards others.
Like care for others.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, it always también helped me out, like, grew up, like, in a religion and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she, I know this is gonna be so bad, but she's against, like, alcohol and, like, tattoos and everything, like both my parents and everything. So, I mean, they do try to put me to the best path as possible, even
Yeah.
though pues no les pongo atención, sometimes, but I think, and overall, they did raise me to be like a, like, genuine, person.
Genuine person.
Because I don't think always, every time I do something, I do it with, like, I sometimes even put, like, them on top of, like,
Everything.
me,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just care too much, I would say.
Nice.
What about you, V?
For me, it was kind of different just because, so my mom left when I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was my dad and my grandma and my grandpa. My mom, unfortunately, she already passed away. And I didn't really get to talk to her much growing up. It was kind of weird because she left to Mexico and I didn't really know anything of her later on, till maybe when I was like, I don't know, 10, she wanted me to go back. But my grandma was like, no. And my dad was just always kind of like really in and out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, I didn't really have a mother or father figure.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked, honestly. I didn't really get to see much of that, but tenía mucha abuela, for sure. She, she took care of me and my brother. And, I mean, like Luis said, she wasn't home as often. And I didn't get to, like, spend time with her, like, sit down or any of that. Pero nunca nos faltó comida, nunca nos faltó ropa. Like, yeah, again, we might have not had everything that we wanted. Pero no matter what it was, I think from her, I always got that she was very hardworking.
Yeah.
Like, hasta ahorita, she's in her plenos, literally 70s, and todavía anda trabajando.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
crazy,
and it's crazy to me because I'm just like, I look at her and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like, like nowadays you're like, you're struggling, you're like, holy shit, like, how do my parents do it?
Yeah.
And I look at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she's so amazing. And we never had a really good relationship. And same with my dad. My dad has always been in and out of my life. And I think that's always been something very hard for me. But from him, I could say, from both of them, even with my dad just being in and out, they always taught me to be, like, a good person, you know, like always have good intentions and, you know, always, although people do bad things, like always see the good in what you did.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. But definitely hardworking because I'm very hardworking, and I learned that from my grandma and my dad. I feel like everyone in my family kind of always overlooked that of me because my dad, you know, he had alcohol issues and other issues then, that everybody would kind of look at me as in like, oh, like you're gonna be a little fuck up because I didn't have my dad or my mom. And so everybody would see my dad like, you know, messing up and doing all these things, and I would always, you know, I would help my grandma at such a young age work. And so I was kind of in school, but not really. I had a lot of issues. And so everybody always looked at me, like, looked down on me that I was going to be the worst, you know. And pues gracias a Dios no salí tan mal. I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty good. But I think, yeah, I mean, compassion, love, being there for one another, and, you know, hardworking for sure. Because nada en esta vida es gratis, you know.
Yeah,
so,
that's for sure, dude. Well, I think even now, I think all of us, like even like more, maybe more like Hispanic, someone that has like comes back from that like background, like Hispanic household, I think they can really pick up like or kind of relate that most of their parents were hardworking, like most of the time, you know, like no matter what. I feel like that's what Hispanics were kind of known for, you know, or are known for, is like they're always hardworking, you know, people, and like that's it's like same thing goes for me, like so I don't know my real dad. Obviously, I live with my stepdad. But I see him as my real dad because, like, ever since I was little, you know, he basically raised me. So, like, that's what I got from him, too, was, like, hardworking would be one thing that I picked up from him, and that stuck with me till today, you know. It's, you know, he's obviously, like all you guys, too. You guys know, like, sacrificed, you know, that time with you to work, you know, to obviously put a roof over your head, food on the table, and all that stuff. And then for my mom, I'd probably say, like, just the... I don't know how you would say, like, clean, like, to stay clean, like, clean household, you know, like,
to maintain
kinda,
like clean space,
like, because that's kind of how, because I'm kind of picky about
That's
stuff.
what my
Like,
mom is too.
It's like, I feel like all Hispanics moms
Like
are
a
like
clean
that too,
freak,
though,
you
you know?
know?
Yeah, like that.
Cuando regrese quiero ver la casa limpia.
Yeah, dude. No, and then, yeah, that's, you don't, yeah, she goes out to go get groceries, and then you're there at the house chilling. She's like, oh, the house better be clean. And then you're chilling, and then you hear the car pull up.
And you're like, oh,
and
shit.
Chinga, you get up, get the mop.
Los frijoles, los frijoles.
No, y luego cuando se te olvidó sacar la
The
carne.
meat, oh my God, bro. And then you come out, hot water.
Te dije que la
Dude.
pusieras.
And no, and then she'd be like, did you put hot water in it? No. Oh, I said warm. Oh, no. Yeah, that was.
No sé.
Dude, if all of you guys
Está
can
muy
relate,
frío.
let us know. If you guys can relate. It's that, just we're growing up
That
Hispanic.
Hispanic.
Yeah, growing up Hispanic, dude, is just.
Yeah, and I think, well, that was kind of like también, I think, are we all, well, I'm like one of the oldest. I know you're the oldest too.
We're all the oldest, like,
Yeah.
in like,
Because I was going to
sibling-wise.
say, like, in the siblings and everything too, because...
Yeah.
It was the air.
Oh, okay.
I just
Anyways,
got scared.
yeah,
the
technical
queen.
difficulties.
Ya se cayó la
No,
escoba.
yeah, what I was what I was gonna say was, you know, also too, I kind of felt like I might have been like, you know, and my brothers and my siblings, you know, like I said, most of my parents, like when we started, you know, came to the United States, most of my siblings, I kind of raised them kind of too, like, you know, took care of him and everything because of the same reason my mom and my dad were both
Gone. Working.
you know, gone and working and stuff like that. And, you know, they kind of gave me, let's say, like a role or like a little empowerment role of, you know, taking care of your siblings. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're always like, your siblings, and, you know, you're the oldest one. You got to be a role model for them. You always got to do good because they're going to be looking, you know, at you and everything.
Up to you, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's how I was too. You know, with my mom would be out, my dad would be working too, and I, you know, being the oldest, I feel like it kind of teaches you how to be like a leader too, low key, like, you know, to make decisions and stuff. Like, obviously,
It's like you say, it molds you into who you are, basically, today in some way.
because I remember making food for them too, like young dude,
Cooking
those
it
hot
up.
dogs,
Dude,
dude.
Mine was either like frozen food, some maruchan, and like sandwiches. You know?
Yeah, dude, like
That was it.
the classic, the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Some
No, and then I don't know if this happened to you guys or that's how my mom is. She never really like taught me, like, she knows how to cook really good and everything, in my opinion. But she never taught me like how to cook.
Uh-huh.
She didn't want to.
Yeah.
For some reason, she was like, "Oh no, like esto déjamelo para mí," and stuff like
You
that.
think maybe
so
'cause
that's
it
why
was
I
like
only
a-
knew. So that's the only reason I only knew
You think-
sandwiches and all that.
You think maybe it was because it was more of like a
Like a
not a
female
female
role.
role.
Like a
yeah,
duty.
like a woman
That
role.
kind of is true.
'Cause
Because
maybe
now
she,
I
you know-
like my little sister. She does have her do like other stuff. Like because I do have like not so little. She's like my middle sister, but she's what middle school age. Pero
You don't know
ya
your
la está-
sister's
Yeah,
She's like 13 or 12 or something like that,
10 to
But
13,
anyways,
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
dice
but
Luis.
she's already like, like my mom's pretty strict on her, like, about like cleaning the house,
Yeah.
like, and that's kind of true nowadays because even there's people in the, like, a lot of, I would say, like, let's say girls, like, that they didn't get raised with like those traits, I would say. And yeah, and my dad always también pues ayudándole afuera, like in
Yeah.
la casa.
Yeah.
Because, a veces, like, in the car, and then that's why I'm pretty, like, oriented into cars and everything.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think just in general, I mean, it is. I think that it is important to have, both mother or father figure, one of the other, or
Yeah.
if not both, just because, I was said in the beginning, it just shapes you to kind of who you are today, and it like kind of teaches you those things when you're growing up,
Yeah.
and
It's like you can either take the right path or the wrong path, whether you have either or in your life,
And I think
like-
also, too, when you're younger, you always look up to something.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna, like, you're always gonna look up to something, and that's who you want. Like, you're always gonna be like, that's the person I kind of want to be. Because even for me too, sometimes, like, even when I first grew up, like allá in Mexico, like when I was younger, I was a lot with my grandpa and like my grandma too, like connected with them a lot.
Yeah.
Just because my grandpa, like we live in a rancho over there.
Not me wanting to cry, because I remember my grandpa.
No, and like my grandpa, I remember I used to go a lot to him. I liked a lot of like farming. Stuff like that, the
Yeah.
rancho, like cosas like
Que la jardinería and stuff
macaballo
like
and
that,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, ayudándole en la like labor, like they call it like la labor. And I would help him. Like I would go with, like, he would have a horse for me ready, like after school and all that. I remember getting to school. And, ya lo tenía todo montado because I didn't know how to put la montura on. Pero my grandma would, like, always have food for me ready as soon as I got, like, and then for, like, a solito en el rancho, I'd
Yeah.
just go with my horse. Estaba rengo y todo, like, viejito. Pero ahí me iba ya. But, yeah, because I think sometimes you do look up to someone else,
Yeah, just
Even
a
if
role
you
model, yeah.
Because, like I said, even for them, they, when they could, I know they gave me some traits, but then you always have someone, because even other people nowadays too, it's like teachers and everything too, or their older brother,
Yeah.
or
It really
Some-
depends, yeah.
sister, or hasta like a tío or tía,
So what about like obviously not all families like are perfect, and like I feel like a lot of people do cut like they cut ties with some of their, I wouldn't say cut ties with them, but like stop talking to them, and like they kind of don't associate themselves with people in their own family. Like what do you guys think of that? Like, is it okay? You guys think it's okay to cut ties with like some of your family members, like for the greater good, depending on what situation you're in, or what do you guys think?
And my grandma siempre me dijo, like, always respect tus mayores, like, family's always going to be family. But, I think cutting ties is okay. I mean, at least for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just being said, because a veces, like, hasta tu propia familia, like, doesn't want to see you happy.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
don't want to
say
see you
some-
succeed.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you where you are, and I mean, I've experienced it myself. I don't really associate myself with most of my family. Only like my grandma and my dad now, that they live together, and my brother and like one or two uncles. But other than that, I just feel like I can't associate with them. And that's just them. That's just due to them being rude, or they always have something to say, like, and not good, Siempre
Kinda
de
like-
manera mala.
I feel like very judgmental.
Ándale, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my case, my mom siempre me dice, like, saluda. And, I always say hi and everything, but it's like, si no me nace saludarte because of the way that you are with me, like, I'm a lot older now. You know what I mean? I mean, not that old tampoco, pero like,
Damn, all right.
Not as old as Luis. Ahorita.
yeah, una viejita, no? But like now that I'm older and that I see things in a different perspective, you know, I feel like, you know, we all have rights to believe and to think and do whatever we want, because at the end of the day, it's our lives. You know, they're not the ones living our lives.
Yeah.
They're not the ones doing and putting in all the hard work that we know that we are doing within ourselves. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes, I feel especially growing up Hispanic, like siempre vas a tener una tía bien chismosa and like un tío que like always have something to say, you know what I mean? Like they always have something to comment about, like, ay que se tatuó y que ay que pinche mocoso y que ay que, they start comparing. It's always like comparing situations. I feel like, ay que mi hijo esto y que mi hija acá, and pero tu hijo y qué está haciendo, and like, you know, things like little scenarios like that.
Yeah.
And so, and I would see that a lot growing up, at least with my side of the family. And so I mean, for me, it's like, you know what, like and it's how I say, it's like in general, the phone works both ways, you know, too. So it's like, if I talk to you and you want to talk to me, then I'll talk to you. But if you don't talk to me, then I'm not going to make the effort to talk to you, because why? You know? But, I mean, mi mamá todavía hasta el día de hoy, she's like, nah, like, don't be rude, saluda. And I'll say hi, but it's like, it's a different type of distance that I keep between myself and with them, just because, for my own good and for my own sake, you know, and my own mentality. But that's the way I see it.
What
I don't know about you guys.
For me, I think it's a little different, because for me, I don't think it has happened or anything like that. I haven't had any situation that I need to like cut a family member off. You know, there's always gonna be fights and everything, arguments. Sometimes I think you can always fix stuff, you know, and then also like the blood. What is it called? The blood bond. There's always like a blood bond, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes there is. I think to the situation, the extent of the situation, you know. I mean, of course, if there's something that's really, really bad, or they have like, you know, people are gonna mess up in general, but depends on what extent they are. If they're still continuing with their, you know, whatever they got going on, or you know, their bad intentions. If they have, I would say, if they had bad intentions, that would be like the only way. But if besides that, I feel like you always still kind of have to support them or something, or even not fully disconnect, but still, o sea,
Like a tu manera.
sí, o sea, like a la distancia, you know?
Yeah,
Like, you know?
like you're doing you, but it's like, you know, you keep that boundary.
Because you never know what
too.
people are going through, too.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going through. And imagine basically you, like, separating away when they don't have, like, you know, like, imagínate, like, if their friends are separating away and their family, too. You know? Like, the family is what should be, like, the last, you know, disconnection, you know? So it's tough. It's tough to really say. You know?
Okay, so for me, because I've had experience when like even someone that's really close to like my family, I had to cut them off because for me personally, I did not like what they were doing, like to the people that I knew that were in my family, like really close to me, and that's why I cut ties with that one person. But even from the beginning of time, like if you think about it, I had to I don't talk to my dad at all, my real dad. Like I cut ties with him.
Yeah.
You know, the only time he ever calls me is like, I don't even remember the last time he called me. You know, it's like, why would I talk to him? I don't know him. You know, right now he's a stranger.
Yeah.
So for me to talk to him, you know, it's like, why would I talk to him? I have like, yes, he gave me life, you know, with my mom, but to what extent? You know, it's like they was never there. And then at the same time too is like, even if they're family, you know, you have people in your family, and that they disrespect you or you know, they're saying all this stuff about you behind your back and stuff. Like, I don't care for me personally, I don't care if they're family or not. Like, just like, yeah, everybody goes through stuff all the time, but that doesn't mean you got to put someone else through something, you know, through whatever.
You're self-aware of what you're doing. You know?
Like now, like obviously when you're younger, you don't really get like, you don't have that experience, you know,
or
like
the knowledge.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just my opinion. Like for me, I have no problem cutting family for my greater good.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, if they don't treat me the way that I want to be treated, you know, that I'm treating them, why would I treat them nice, you know, like put some respect on me and then I'll put some respect on you. That's just the way I think.
Because I mean, you could be a lot older, like, como dice, like, respeta tus mayores, but it's like, if you're not respecting me, then why should I respect you, you know? And I see it like that in just general, how he says, like, because there could only be so much level of respect that they're giving you, you know? And it's like
there's
llegas a un punto, then you're
Yeah.
like, nah, like, what the heck? Like
like I
why?
said,
Yeah.
like I said first, like just experiences that I've gone through. Like I'll give you respect up to a certain point, and then when you start taking advantage of that, then that's when I'm like, you know what? That's where I draw the line.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Feel free if you wanna, but let's say your dad. Right now, the only thing I personally know you, your dad is a whole different country, right? Let's say you go over there, or he comes over here, and he wants to make a connection with you. Would you allow that, or you would let's say, feel like you have, let's say you could hate, I would say, towards him, that you wouldn't allow that?
Well, for
What do you
me,
think?
I don't think it'd be hate. I just think that like as old as I am right now, like all those years that he's never been wanted anything.
Yeah.
If he really wanted a connection, he would have stayed in touch. He would have messaged me, whatever. If he really wanted a connection,
Yeah.
to keep in touch and like to see how I'm doing. But like
Let's say if he wants to.
But if he wanted,
later on,
if he wanted to at this point in time, I'm a grown man already.
Would you
like,
accept it?
I wouldn't accept it, me personally, because I'm already who I am without him.
Yeah.
So like I don't need him in my life to do anything. That's just me though. Obviously some people would want that connection with them, but for me, I see there's no connection because he didn't teach me anything growing up. I learned it all from my stepdad. Which I see now as my real dad. I wouldn't be able to see somebody else. Like, yes, he's still my father, but in my eyes, he's a stranger.
Yeah.
But what about you, V?
I don't know. It's so hard. I don't want to cry. I think this is such a sensitive topic for me because, I've always felt growing up alone. You know what I mean? And so, like I mentioned earlier, like my grandma was around, but not really. So I always I would always see my friends and stuff, okay, like, oh, my parents this, like my mom this, and for me that hurt. As me personally, as like a woman and who I am today, like I think it still hurts me, and that's still something that I'm still healing. And it's very hard. It's very, very hard for me. It's different for everybody. I think for me, I have tried multiple times having that relationship with my dad. And it's just very hard. Like, it's very hard no matter how much I try, no matter how many times I've told him how I feel personally, no matter how many times my grandma has told him, like, be there for her, like, like, she's here. Yeah. Take advantage of her, like, because, so when I was younger, my dad, he had gotten into some problems, whatever. He se fue a Mexico. And for me, it felt like I had gotten everything ripped away from me, from my life, And I tried when he came back, and I still try till this day. And for me, at this point, it's just kind of like, I'm over it. Because you can only try so much being a child, Yeah. And I have learned, what... Yo siempre digo, like, porque I would always be so angry at my real mom, but unfortunately she did pass away already, and I would always be so mad at, like, my dad for them not being in my life. Like, les tenía un coraje, like, coraje that I'm like, why did you want to miss out on this? Like, you have such a freaking amazing kid, and you want to miss out on all of this? That's the way I see it. Yeah. I'm like, and even then, like, now, like, I tell my dad all these things that I'm doing, and it's like, the energy is not reciprocated. Yeah. Where it's not like, and yeah, and I know that he loves me and whatever it is, but his actions tell me otherwise.
Don't portray it.
Exactly. And, I feel like now it's just something that I'm like, you know what? Like, sometimes people don't change. Yeah. And you kind of have to live with it. Y como digo, like, like, yeah, they were younger at one point. They were us, at one point. They had traumas, they had whatever it is, and it's taken
struggles.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot of me personally to truly forgive my dad, porque digo, pues, ¿sabes qué? Like, tú no tienes la culpa, it's not my fault either.
Yeah.
You know, it's taken a lot for me to really say, like, you know what? It's not my fault. It's not my fault that you missed my games. It's my fault that you didn't want to be in my life. It's my fault that you might have missed my graduation or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's not my fault.
No.
Yeah.
And it's not anybody's fault in reality, you know, like, it's life. It is what it is. And I have learned to forgive. And I don't think, you know, como digo, like, the phone works both ways.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's not really like a perfect, you know, life, you know. Like I said, every family has their own struggles, you know, regardless if you know they were together or separate. Because, you know, you never, you know, the thing is that I think we look at movies, we look at stuff like that. There's always like, you know, a happy ending.
Yeah.
it's like
And,
a
you know,
certain standard
But
that
in reality, that's
Yeah.
never the
society
case.
puts
You
out
know?
for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know,
And you
even-
can, and you didn't, like when you see those movies and stuff, you know, you're like, oh, you know, I wish, you know, that's how a family should be.
Yeah.
You know, in reality, like you said, everybody has their own problems, has their own struggles, you know, has their own
Yeah.
traumas, whatever it may be.
And like also how Vivi said, you would see other people like you know, when you're younger, you see your friends and everything say about this my family and
With their
me did
families.
this and that, you know, because también like for me, like I'm telling you, I grew up with like I say struggles, and like you know, there's always like me and my family went on vacation and things like that, and for me, I never even. Well, even to this day, like we never really done like a vacation. I'd say we've gone out, but we go to like visit family, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
not
not like almost on a vacation
family
for like
vacation.
a Disney World
Yeah.
or something, you know. And even back then, like I remember when I was like little kid, I always wanted to go like to Chuck E. Cheese's, and they never were able to. Like I remember like Chuck E. Cheese's and like fishing and things like that. And it took forever. Like, you know, my parents, like, I wanted to, like, you know, when I was little, I would, like, cry and want to go, like, do that. But, you know, sometimes they were, like, you know, struggling or not sure
Like
what
other
was the
things were-
case. Or
yeah.
they just couldn't make it, you know. Si están trabajando mucho. And later
Cuando
on,
se
you know,
puede,
no,
se
no
puede, y
tenía
cuando
tiempo
no, pues
or
no,
something,
yeah.
yeah. And I never understood that as a kid, you know, until,
Yeah.
like, now. But now
Now
I see
you-
it and I'm, like, grateful
Yeah.
for it, you know.
And that's the thing too, is
And like I said, you just see in movies and like other friends or something, you know, they just everyone's always gonna tell you like the good things they see. You
Yeah.
know?
like you crave
good
that
stuff,
that
yeah.
feeling, that intimacy that you want to have.
Yeah.
And
well, everybody just looks at like at the good.
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Nobody ever sees the bad,
Yeah,
and it's just how it is. It's like they stand like just movies in general and everything, like they standardize as like
Yeah.
happiness.
And like social media too, like you
Yeah.
post what you want people to
Yeah,
think, and
they-
you post what you
Yeah,
want people
exactly.
to believe. You know,
It's like same thing with like goes for like when people are posting on Instagram and stuff. It's like everybody posts their achievements, but they never post like their fails and stuff. You know, like, and like you said, everybody has their own problems. You know, everybody has failed, and everybody has.
yeah. And also too, I'm guessing, like let's say all our parents, I'm pretty sure they were young when they had us too, right?
Yeah, it's like a lot younger
Yeah.
than.
Yeah. So imagine like put yourself in their shoes too. Like, cause I'm pretty sure, do you know the age that your parents were?
So I think so. My mom was 15 when she had me, so
Yeah.
she was very, very young.
That's what's crazy too.
and that's
like,
yeah,
you
because
know?
pues allá entonces like
Well, dude,
tenían
imagine yourself as
12, 13
15.
hijos
Yeah,
así como
no,
si
Yeah,
nada.
imagine as a 15, like, you know, having a kid. That's even probably worse because that is really,
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah, because
And I'm pretty sure.
my mom was, I think, was like 16 or 17 too.
Yeah.
Which is
And
crazy.
like now,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
nosotros, yeah.
Yeah.
Ellos
Yeah.
casándose in fucking
No,
20-year-old,
but
20 years, and you're just
yeah.
out here sitting here
But I
doing
think-
a podcast.
Yeah.
Y los niños,
Dang.
nosotros.
No, but I think the thing that's crazy too is like back in the day,
Yeah.
it was a whole different time. Like
Yeah.
we've talked about it before. You know, it's like compared to this day and age, even $100,000 back in the day was a lot of money. Now it's
Nothing.
standard, basically. You know, everybody that's
Yeah,
like minimum
it's
wage now,
standard,
casi.
yeah.
You know, it's like everybody makes $100,000 now, a year. And then back then, everything was a lot cheaper
Well, it's
and
not even
stuff.
livable. Have
Yeah.
you guys seen like that survey? Like back then, like 100,000 was like a goal.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, that was like like upper.
made, like-
it was like upper middle class, I would
Yeah.
say.
You know, now I think
Now-
100,000 is like lower
A lot
middle
of people
class
are saying 100,000. It's like you still live paycheck to paycheck.
paycheck. Yeah, I think that I
That's
used to-
inflation.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
If we find because Luis had sent us a was it you or you? I can't remember. One of you two sent us a
What?
like a chart. It was a chart about like
On TikTok, right?
I think, I don't know, or Instagram or something.
That's on TikTok.
Oh my god, here we go again.
Not the TikTok.
But if we can find that, we'll put it up, and you guys can kind of see what the chart was saying, like, depending on what you make now, it's like 100,000 got moved down lower, basically.
Damn.
So
TikTok needs to sponsor us though.
they need to sponsor a lot of people.
Nah, it just doesn't. I'm just kidding.
But like, let me see, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's a little different topic and everything too, but I think it kind of makes sense why it is like important to have like someone, because I remember I was looking at other studies too, and like majority of people that are like in jail or prison or criminals or something, they never had a full like a mother and a father,
Yeah, like
and I think that's crazy too.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it like said like I could have gone a different route, you know. Seeing, my family and my dad struggling with, alcohol, because, I mean, till this day, it's, something he struggles with, I could have been like, screw this and screw that. Like, I'm going to be a fuck up, like everybody would say, you know?
Yeah.
And then, well, I've also seen, too, that there's been people that are like, I think there was like studies on this too. Don't get fact check me. Don't check this. But it's like there's people that have been trying to like people that like there's like a psychological thing that the kids like they try to do, let's say, bad, but to get like the parents' attention.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Like a kid would get like a kid would get in a fight or something, so your dad or your mom would show up to school or whatnot.
Yeah. So I think that is true, because I've known some people that like when I was growing up, their parents didn't really like pay attention to them, so they would be like that trouble kid to get their attention. Yeah, exactly. Because like for some reason they weren't getting it, and I don't know if it's just like
it's something psychological. I'd say.
Maybe I don't know,
because people they're always in their own mind, and for them probably they were like para que me hagan caso. Voy a hacer esto y esto,
Yeah. No, it's very true.
And like how you said, it was like maybe the opposite way around for you. You try to do really good so you can get their, let's say, attention, I would say.
No, honestly. Ay, wait, estuvo bien fuerte.
Dude, I hate that stuff.
I think for me, I don't want to say I had a rough childhood, but I think the majority of my childhood and growing up, I spent it sad. I was always I was like depressed kid and the anxiety kid and, the suicidal kid, not to be a little bit explicit and stuff.
No,
but
I can't say that on YouTube. No. Self-delete.
So do you think, okay, so, well, I'll let you finish first and then.
No, go ahead.
So do you think, okay, so I think in middle school, honestly, I think in middle school, it's kind of like, not peer pressure, but like you kind of see everybody else going through it and you kind of want to try to go through it too, it's kind of, you kind of make yourself go through it for no reason, like you could have a good like home life and like no problems, but you see everybody else like the trend, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then you see everybody acting like in middle school we had like those emo stages, emo phase. Lisa's like, wait, what? No, but like it's kind of like not peer pressure, but like
it's like a phase.
It's like an influence from other people. Yeah. You're kind of getting influenced by other people because it's like trending or like
you ves algo que ellos tienen o que ellos hacen and you want to do the exact same thing.
Kinda like
and it's like
well, wait, like you kind of feel left out. It's kind of like FOMO, It's like
FOMO.
It's like when
fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I said. I was like, wait.
You're looking at like what? You're like, what does that mean? Yeah, it's like FOMO. It's especially when you're younger,
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people kind of influence you. And back in the day, a lot of like you would look up, how you said you would look up to a whole bunch of different people. But do you think it would also be okay to like look up to somebody other and just take? I don't even think he was popping back then, bro.
86.
But like, you think that you'd be able to get influenced by a lot of like other people besides your parents, like give you kind of guidance, like besides your parents?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you think?
I would say so too, because I feel like every time, especially around that time, you always had like a celebrity that you always like, let's say, looked up to, and then. Or even like back then, it was like pretty popular, like YouTubers. I don't know if that was like a thing. Influencers. That's the reason there's like influencers too nowadays. And then think about it now, like, remember that study that we saw back then too? Like, if you ask, like, any kid, like, in elementary school, all they want to do is, like...
become, like, an influencer, social media, something with social media. Mm-hmm. And it's, it is what it is. But what about you, V?
No, I believe it. With my brother, I think I've always really looked up to him. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, like, like, we all mess up, we live and we learn. But I think he, for me, growing up, he was my rock. Mm-hmm. For sure. And although I went through all of this and I was feeling whatever way I was feeling, like, my brother always kept a smile, like, regardless what it was. Mm-hmm. And he, he took care of me, when my grandma wasn't there, when my dad didn't want to take care of me, so that for me, like, means a lot. And to this day, like, I look up to him. He's such a great father. He has 2 kids, and me now growing a little bit older and seeing him do what he does, I'm like, I'm like, I love you, like, I look up to him, like, for everything. He was always such a good student and everything, and, like, I wasn't the greatest student, you know what I mean? But I'd always be like, like, I want to be just like him. Like, I want to get good grades, and I want to go to college and do all these things because they, but I don't know. To me, he's my greatest role model. And my grandma too, pero, in different ways, of course.
Yeah, different aspects. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, me? Well, for me, I think, me in general, like, when I grew up, even till this day, like, I'm not really, like, a family oriented person. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just not family oriented. Like, I see a lot of people, like me, I was always hanging out with, like, my best friend in, like, middle school and high school, mm-hmm. like, all through middle school, all through high school, and even after, I moved to Houston with him and stuff. But I was always hanging out with him. Like, I was like, that family was my family. It's like, that's the way I saw it. Yeah. Because my family, like, the way that my family worked was, like, they had a lot of problems and stuff. So, like, I was kind of, like, seeking that family from him, maybe, in a way. But for me, like, I got influence and, like, kind of guidance from them a lot, rather than my own family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's just the way that I grew up.
But it happens. I think it happens, because I think I was the same way with, like, one of my really old close friends. Me la pasaba con ella, and mm-hmm. that's all I want to do is just be with her. Because you feel that vibe, you feel that presence. Because same thing, like, I wasn't very family oriented and everything, but you crave that, like, like, you want to feel welcomed. You want to feel like that's your safe space, mm-hmm. in a way, because you have all these issues going on at home, and you
want to get away from it. Yeah. Like, you just want to get away from it.
Yeah. I think, but I agree.
Teach their own, it's like everybody mm-hmm. grew up a different way. Everybody sees things differently. Mm-hmm. That's just the way, we grew up, and, teach their own.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Anyways, guys, I had a video that I wanted to go show you guys.
But what about you?
He said it already.
Yeah, that was the first one.
He said the first one. Yeah. All right, guys.
My bad.
So we're going to try to...
I had a video that I had in mind, and I wanted to show you guys. It kind of fits with this these topics right now. I wanted to show you guys, and I'll show you guys the audience too, and I want to get you guys' like reaction. Okay. Or, we'll talk about it.
Well, guys, this is gonna be kind of like a new segment we're gonna try. We'll maybe pop it up here and there, and see how it goes. But.
A ver qué dice el público.
Yeah, we'll just do like
originally, guys. I'll say this right now. Originally, guys, we had a different topics in mind. We had a special guest,
but he bailed.
He bailed
last minute,
literally last minute.
So yeah, we had to,
with concussion.
Hey, I hope his Caucasian is okay.
We're not gonna say much, but
I hope his Caucasian is okay.
If you know, you know.
If you know who you are, you know who you are.
Should we forgive him? I don't know.
Nah. I want to see him take 4 shots in a row in the beginning.
Yeah.
When he comes back, we'll bring him on.
Only 4?
Yeah, only 4. Be generous, and then throughout the podcast, we'll take a little more.
Shot.
But anyways, we're gonna do segment now.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys a video real quick.
Luis will pull up the video, and then we'll see what's up.
All right.
Hi. So I have a small dilemma. I am starting a new job on Monday. And it's a teaching job, so the kids are going to call me either Mr. or Mrs. Jamie. It depends on what I want, but I, as a non-binary being, I don't know what to pick. I feel like Mrs. would be easier for the kids, but Mr. makes me feel better. But I also kind of want to try mix, but I don't know if the kids can do that. I don't. And then what do they do when they ask me if I'm a boy or a girl? I'm not. I don't know.
Explain that it's young kids too.
It's young kids. My class is gonna be 4-year-olds, so I don't know. And then I don't know if I want to go by Jamie or Jamie Ray, because Jamie Ray is the name that I go by now. I don't know. Any advice would be great for any non-binary teachers.
SOS, save our ship.
SOS, SOC, save our captain. Thanks.
Okay, guys. So Luis just showed us the video.
All right, what you guys think about the video?
Okay.
I think that kind of just fits in because it was 4-year-olds that we're talking about.
Okay.
And something. Hey, this might be a trigger warning.
Hey guys, yeah, trigger
Might
warning
be like
for
a little controversial topic.
Yeah, if
Trigger,
you guys, yeah,
trigger warning.
You know, if you guys, it talks about more than two genders.
No,
So,
ya pusimos, I'll be editing the video. Ya les puse también.
yeah,
so que sí,
you guys will see the video already. So,
What you guys think?
you want me to go first? I'll go first. All right, for me.
I'll let you cook first.
So for me, honestly, I don't think I don't know what. Okay, in reference to that person, he, she, it, them, whatever. In the way that I see it, two genders, only two genders, male or female, and that's it. People that think that there's more than two genders are delusional. I don't know if they just seeking attention or what, but I don't think that someone like him or her should be teaching 4-year-olds, because when you put kids that are that young in that situation where they can, they're kind of picking stuff up when they're, obviously they pick more stuff up when they're younger. And you put that in front of them saying there's more than two genders and, I'm neither. She's basically saying I'm neither him or her.
She said she didn't even know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, she was even confused. She's
Well,
like,
that's
I don't know what I'm going to want to get called.
Well, no, that's the thing is she doesn't know what he or she is.
Yeah.
And when you put kids in that situation, it's just bad, because then they're picking that up and then they're thinking how she's thinking.
Yeah.
And you put their parents into the equation. It's like, do their parents want them to be taught by him or her? Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. Yeah. So I don't think I don't know. I just think it's not a good idea to put young children like that in that situation.
In that scenario.
Yeah.
What about you, Beeps?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she didn't even know. Or, I mean, she didn't even know, whatever. I mean, I'm not against any of that, I have a lot of friends and family. But when you're bringing such a topic like that to such young kids, you're just like, you should be teaching them other things, not asking them, oh, am I a he, am I a she, am I whatever it is, that's period. Like, I wouldn't want my kids to hear that.
Well, because then at the end of it, you get the kids asking themselves too,
exactly.
like,
they start questioning themselves. And I always say, like, a mí no me gustaría que mis hijos, would go through something like that, or even have the minimal thought of it in their head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would just be like, you know what, you're a kid, you do you, grow up, y pues ya, o sea, uno se entera, uno sabe, like, later on in life, when they're older. But at such a young age, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, what the heck? Like, makes me want to, like, smack the bitch.
It's a bad scenario for them.
Like, not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
you just don't bring certain things up like that, I feel like, especially when you're working with such young kids and, like, they're literally giving you that responsibility, that trust to be with them. And you'll say, like, como hay gente mala, hay gente buena, but you never truly know that person's intentions. Like, yeah, she might be, or it, or whatever the fuck it is, could be talking about whatever it is, but can be telling them something else behind cameras or behind whatever it is, Y es como dice Angel, like, you don't want them believing or thinking certain things.
Well, that's the thing, is like just the parents themselves, it's like if I bet, if the parents knew that someone like that was teaching their kids and they knew, the kids are obviously going to ask questions, like how that video, it said, it was like, I don't know if I should be called Mrs. or Mr. It's like the kids are going to be confused and like, okay, well, you look like a girl, you're Mrs. No, but I'm a Mr.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna get confused, and then obviously when they're that young, like I said, they're picking stuff up.
And then what if it like becomes a problem?
Yeah.
Or what if she wants to like, I don't know, maltratar el niño o la niña, you know what I mean? Just based off of them being confused. It's
Yeah.
like things that you have to think about too, in a way. I don't know.
But what do you think?
So for me, también, okay, otro topic, So for me, I think when you have like that mindset, it's kind of bad. It really is because I've seen a lot of videos just like this that they're like, oh, are you assuming my gender and this and that? Like they always like
They get like offended.
They get offended, but it's like in reality, it's a lot of things are like assumptions. It's weird, like to break the rule of assumption because we naturally have it. Just to please them.
Yeah.
In reality, like I said, to each their own. I'm not really against it because I'm like, oh, they can do whatever as long as they're not harming anyone else.
Yeah.
For me, it's like whatever you can do your own thing, Pero you can like whatever you want. But like when you want people to change their mindset or just because
To
of-
please
for-
you,
to
kinda
please
to
you
please
pretty
you,
much, and
yeah.
you still get or sometimes people I've seen videos like I said that they get offended when they're like, "Oh, are you assuming that I'm
My
this
gender,
or
yeah, like,
that?"
oh, you assuming my gender,
But in
yeah.
reality, like I said, people have that, and that's just pushing it already. I'd say, I'd say just go with the regular. It looked like a girl, so I would just say, "Call me Mrs. This," and then ya cuando está with their close friends or whatever, pues
Yeah,
that's
then they
something
know,
that
yeah.
that's something for you to tell your close friends or something like that. But to put a little kid for that it's pretty tough because imagine she said like oh, call me Mr. This, pero te das cuenta todavía pues tiene like boobs and everything.
Yeah.
It's like
And kids
weird
are
as hell.
silly,
You
They'll
know,
be
they're
like,
yeah,
oh,
they're
well,
gonna
if
be
you're a
weird as
mister,
hell.
then why do you have this? And
Yeah, they're
kids,
curious.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
curious
kids are
overall.
curious. They question everything basically. So
Yeah.
para que los estés confundiendo así,
Yeah.
it's like,
And then like como dices también, she didn't even know what she wanted to be called.
yeah.
So I think that's like,
Cause she was confused
yeah, you shouldn't be teaching overall.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, cuando estás así, you shouldn't be teaching.
Well, like
Si
for-
no sabes cómo te llaman,
Who gave you your
imagínate.
diploma?
Yeah.
No, like okay, so like for me, like I have no problem with like people like how you said, like it's
Yeah.
like if you want to be something else, then that's fine. I have no problem. If you're gay, lesbian, whatever it may be. If you want to be called something different with your pronouns,
Yeah.
for me it doesn't matter. For me, where I have the problem is like when they're trying to teach that stuff to younger kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The obviously, it's just you're putting that out there for them. It's like when not other people think like you.
I think pronouns are just dumb,
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
the pronouns, it doesn't make sense at all. For me, I'd say that like the pronouns, if you think about that, it's tough for me to say. But I think it's just dumb. Like in reality, just go with the regular programs or
well,
pronouns
because
that there already
I
is.
mean,
And I think the other thing is just your sexuality.
I mean, you were either born a
on your
female
own.
or a male. It's like for me, that's the
Yeah.
way I see it. If obviously, like I said, I don't have a problem if you want to be one or the other. That's on you.
Cada quien.
Yeah, and like I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with it, but like I said, it's just the difference is bringing that
to other
in-
people.
to other
like,
people.
making them
Yeah,
And
try to
then
fit your
like
rules.
kind of
it
not
into,
really
yeah.
forcing it, but like
There
I
has
don't
been
know.
people that they do try to force
Yeah,
them to be honest
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's a whole topic like of its
Yeah,
its
because
own.
like imagine like the topic that we were talking about. Like I said, there's a lot of like kids that are not being raised with like their mother or their father figure, and when they're at school and they're getting that kind of like
They're seeking, like, that
education or
guidance and
something like
stuff,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like messing them
It
up in
affects you,
reality.
yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when
Because there's no one really like in the house that's gonna correct them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
that's
that's kind of where problems arise too. It's
Yeah.
like when the parents don't pay attention to their kids, or they don't give them that
Mm-hmm.
connection that they want or whatever it is that they seek. They're getting it from school or,
They're getting
or
it somewhere else, either
else,
their
and
friends,
then
their
that's when
teachers.
that's when the problems start to arise to the parent, and then the parents have this child that's like
¿Y quién te enseñó
confused.
esto?
Yeah,
And
you
this
know,
and
it's like
that.
And then when it's ingrained the very first time
Well,
as
that's
a
the-
kid,
yeah, that's
it's
the thing.
hard to take it
take
off.
it out
Yeah.
because that's kind of what they picked up. They learn. That's when you learn the most. When
and
you're
then
younger.
like imagine if you have you grow up in a household where that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Or things like that. Then it's like crap, what do you freaking do then? You know what I mean? Pobrecito chamaco ahí.
Yeah, it's like
Or
not to-
chamaca.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw. There's another topic. I saw another video on TikTok, and it was crazy to me too. So there was this kid, right? It looks like he was playing video games and everything, and the dad comes in, and the dad's Hispanic. I believe he said he was Mexican, and then he was trying to talk to him in Spanish. Like the dad was straight up talking to him in Spanish. And the kid would straight up respond like for him in English.
But would he?
Y luego,
but was he like he understood Spanish too, or no?
what's up?
The kid, like who?
Yeah, he understood everything
but
because he would understand it, but he would only talk
English. Okay.
And the dad, like he would be like, "¿Por qué no hablas español?" He was like, "No se te hace gacho, like si vas a la tienda o algo así y te tratas de hablar español y tú lo quieres." And stuff like that. And I thought that was like crazy overall.
Dude, that's something I can't tolerate.
So I was gonna say
me
something
personally.
Me llamo.
No, I was gonna say something else.
But me personally, that's something I can't tolerate. Because growing up Hispanic, you see your parents struggle with like not being able to talk English or así cositas, and it's like for me that bothers me because it's like si me estás hablando de cierta manera, like I'm gonna, respond to you in that way, and it's like, aunque te dé pena or whatever, but it's like, have that little bit of decency and respect for...
if you know about it,
Yeah,
like, if you know the language,
yeah, and yo entiendo que, like,
struggle.
la gente a veces es, like, medio sangrona and mamona or whatever, but it's like, if I can help you or whatever it is, like, I'm gonna talk to you in that language, and I have so many friends que, like... They're like, le hablan en español, and they talk to them back in English. It's like, dude, like, they're talking to you in
my little
Spanish,
sister's like that.
and it's
My
like...
little sister's like that now.
Okay, so...
Middle sister.
Okay, so this could, like, honestly, I could say this for, like, another episode or something, but, like, it kind of just goes with this. Like, for me, if that person was born American, in America, the main language is English.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, the way I see it. So I think that everybody should learn how to speak English.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's America. You come to America. Obviously, if you're in Mexico, that's fine. If you're speaking Spanish, you're coming to a different country. Obviously, yes, you have your own ethnicity, like background.
Yeah.
And sure, that kid had Hispanic background. But he's not Hispanic. He's American because he was born here.
So he actually, in that same video, if I find it, I'll put it up too. But he was actually saying the same thing. He's like, you're Mexican, I'm American.
No, then that's the
like
thing. No, because and that's the thing is like for me, but for me, I don't see it wrong because yes, his father is of Hispanic heritage. He was born in Mexico. That kid was born American. He has Hispanic background, but he's a American citizen.
Yeah.
So for me, I see no problem with that video, like that you're explaining to me. That's just me though. And you're in America, you should learn how to speak English.
Yeah.
You come here from
somewhere
somewhere
else. But if you're in a Mexican or Hispanic household?
I mean, yes, obviously.
Because he's straight up talking to his dad, like, in English. And if the dad doesn't even know, like, English.
But that's the thing, too, though. That's the thing, too, is like I said, when you come here to America, it's like...
Yeah.
If he's been here for, like, what, 15, 20 years?
But you also have to understand, like, not to cut you off, like, there's some times where they don't know how to get those resources. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and America was the land of the immigrants.
Yeah.
People, technically, the real, like, Americans is Native Americans.
Yeah.
But
that was not your language.
But in...
But
if you were to look up what is the main language in America, it's English. That's the thing. Yes, there's a lot of immigrants here.
Yeah.
Obviously. But English.
But I think this is more like a cultural.
Yeah, English is the main language. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like,
Yeah, but we're talking about the household.
Yeah, like
okay,
household, like just the household.
The household.
Well, sure,
bro.
that's like a different thing, though. It's like, for me, even for me too, is like I would speak English to my mom and dad all the time.
Aunque no te entendieran.
No, because that's how they would learn, though. That's the thing. It's like there was even one point that my mom and dad both told me to talk to them in English because they wanted to learn English.
Yeah.
Hell no, my mama should be like, me hablas en español because that was your first language.
Well, for me, I think it was like that when we first moved out here, when I first started going to school, probably like 1 or 2 years. But after that, it was like you were you picked up English quick, and you were accustomed to speaking English because you spoke English more than at home. You were in school, So you picked it up a lot faster. So then when you would come home, it's like you were basically teaching your parents how to speak English, if you think about it. Because what you learned, you would speak to them, kind of. At least me. Because like I said, there was a point in time when I was in school for 2 years. And then I started speaking English. And then she was like, oh, well, maybe I can learn. You know, like they like, oh, maybe we can learn. Because they're in America. A lot of people don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a lot of immigrants here that speak, Spanish. And it's not just immigrants like being Hispanic.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different ethnicities of immigrants here. But Hispanic
Well, that's why I'm saying more
Hispanics
of a
is the majority.
household
Yeah.
and compared to like, the country you're at.
Yeah.
Because this is not just
Household,
here
yeah.
specific. It's overall everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just the way I think, though. We'll save it for another one. Because if not, we're gonna go into deep in it.
You okay?
What do you think?
I think it's best always to, like, for me personally, like, if I'm gonna be, like, let's say, putting in my scenario, growing up, like, for me, most of my friends and everything, I talk to them in English because that's what we both know. But there's people even too that are my friends and they mostly speak Spanish. It's hard for them. They might know English, but they know their like Spanish better. And you'll get my Mexican side. Hey, wey, ¿cómo andas, wey? Like, puro way. I don't know why, but it's like
it is always
like
way.
I get ingrained. Like, I know how to talk to certain people like the way, like, to make them comfortable. Because también even like imagine you're in a country and everything, and even they're already struggling. Let's say, imagínate like even people that they already know the language and everything, they still gotta struggle with like understanding you. I think it's just like just speak. If you know Spanish, I would just talk Spanish.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the rule we have, like let's say at the house, it's just you gotta like talking Spanish.
Yeah.
Like it's like your first language. Like for us, it's your first language. So that's like the language that you gotta talk about. And then when you're out of it and everything, I mean, you can talk whatever whatever suits that certain person. Because I think it's like if you know it, there shouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
That's just me.
Yeah. And like I said, everybody has one.
Yeah.
We're gonna save this for another one. When whoever decided to leave today, when he comes back on, we'll talk about it. Hopefully his Caucasian heals really fast. Concussion. All right, guys. I think this will wrap up the episode for today.
Spotify giveaway.
Well,
we did do that.
the Spotify guys,
what we
the
did.
Spotify giveaway is done.
Oh wait.
Guys, but
Ni shut up.
but we still have the YouTube one, and we're
Estoy
closing in on it. I think we need 26 more subscribers. Oh, and I'm gonna call you guys out right now. On YouTube, it tells us the analytics, all right? And 70% of y'all that watch the podcast are not subscribed. So we can tell who's subscribed and who's not
Yeah.
subscribed. So it's 30% that are subscribed and 70% that's not subscribed. So click the subscribe button right now, guys, and then we'll get closer to that giveaway, and then we'll go.
It's free money.
Yeah,
enter
you
it.
literally cannot give
yeah.
free money away.
This last one we had 6 people.
7 people.
So your odds were good.
Your odds
Yeah.
were great
Yeah.
for $50. Like literally, we cannot even give out money without. Like
Yeah.
people don't even want money no more. Like what?
Yeah.
We're
And we'll
Get in the middle.
continue to
Damn.
have the giveaway if you guys, give us that feedback and give us those follows.
Yeah, and like I said, all you have to do for this one is you gotta subscribe on YouTube, and then you also gotta subscribe on Instagram. It's an Instagram, and then comment down a topic that you guys want us to cover.
on YouTube. Just
Yeah.
any
And-
any video. This one we'll look through them and we'll find who subscribed and who followed on Instagram and who commented. We're going off the comments, guys. If you guys follow both and don't comment, then you're not going to be in it. You guys have to comment down below a topic that you guys want us to talk about.
And yeah, and like you said, don't be afraid of putting whatever. We don't mind getting
We'll talk
controversial.
about
We
whatever.
might get
We
canceled
love the
before we
feedback.
make it.
We love the feedback, so
Yep.
But just let us know.
Yeah. But that'll be it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep taking shots. Bye.
Hella shots.